B, hit us with the question of the week.
All right. Question of the week is what would you do if your gym's choreographer did not deliver this year? Rebook next year or find a different one?
All right, so your choreographer came in, he or she did not deliver. What should you do? Should you book him again or her next year? I'm just gonna say him, just to make it easy. Should you book him again next season, or should you, try someone new? That's a great question. If you have a question that you want answered on the show, there's a link in the description, in the show notes. Go down, click on the link, and we'll answer your question. We'll get it in the show. But so yeah, if that happened, I guess if we're talking about us right now, it's Brendan, right? Brendan came in, and if you've been listening to the pod for a while, you know that Brendan has been our choreographer for the last several years, last 5 years or so. And if he came in and he didn't deliver this year, I would not rebook with someone new next year. Not every choreographer or not every routine or everything that the choreographer does you like absolutely love and fall in love with. But with us, Brendan has an established rapport with us. He has a track record of really good routines. We are typically on the same wavelength when it comes to, the routines and putting together the routine. So if he just had an off year, I wouldn't be looking to replace him immediately. Now, if I am shopping around, right, and I'm just now getting into the game and my choreographer retired and I just need to find a new choreographer, and then this choreographer came in and did absolutely there's nothing I liked about their choreography. I was like, man, there was no redeeming qualities about this choreography or about this person. Then I would definitely be looking for a new choreographer. I'd be shopping around to see what could happen. So I would definitely try to book someone. I would be putting out my feelers for someone else to bring in the next season. If it got to that point, if the choreography were that bad, really, really bad, I would probably depends on the team and the scenario, I would probably look to not rehire, but to hire another choreographer to kind of clean up the mess that they've made, right? So again, that depends on the team and the division and a couple other factors, like how bad really is it? Is there anything that we can do ourselves? Because a lot of times choreographers come in and they do things and you don't love every single count of every single 8 count of every single routine. And there's thing where you go, okay, that's cute, but it's not really for this particular team. Like that might be too advanced for them or too slow for them. And we'll go and we'll revamp things to match our style or our culture or that age group or whatever the case may be. So, we'll really do things, even with Brendan, even with the routines that we absolutely love, there's always things that we switch and rearrange, right? But I would try to find some things I like in the routine. If there weren't that many things, then yeah, you got to bring in a new choreographer.
I think it all just depends. Just like from a parent perspective, which I think it's hard for a parent to really even have a perspective on it. I know that parents will say, oh, we've been doing this for 17 years and we know about choreography. I don't think that they really truly know as much as coaches do. That's just my opinion. Don't come at me. I think that if it, like you said, if it were just 1 year, then, you probably would definitely rebook with him. But it also is, I think you want to shop around for someone that is reputable. You don't just want to go down
Mhm.
to, the junior high and ask for their choreographer. Um, but that's just my opinion.
There's only few people who are truly gifted in choreography, right? But there's a billion gyms, right? There's a billion gyms and only 5 really good choreographers, right? And so you're always fighting with, choreographers stay booked. If you're a good choreographer, you stay booked all year long. I have lots of choreographer friends, obviously, in the industry, and so many of them on their Facebook pages are like, I haven't had a day off in the last 60 days because they are constantly on the road, like doing routines and doing routines and doing routines, especially during the summer when you need to get it. And, sometimes we need a choreography to get revamped and we're like, hey, we need you to come in when you have available. And like, yeah, I don't have anything available until November. And you're like, November? Like, what are we supposed to do until November? Right. So, that's the hard part is that there's, sometimes you don't have a choice but to go down to the junior high and be like, hey, who does your choreography? Because there's no one available because the truly gifted choreographers are, you know, few and far between, right? So that's one thing I remember when I lost my train of thought was if it's a team, now some teams you can just, you know what, we talked about the last couple of weeks, we brought up the youth five, right? There's only one team in the nation with a youth five, right? Now, if I didn't love their choreography, but we're the only team in the nation, I'm not going to rebook, I'm not going to fly a choreographer out and rebook everything because those things cost real money, right? And that real money comes out of parents' pockets, right? Like the money, that's where the money comes from that pays for choreography. So, I'm not going to rebook a flight and a hotel and food and, not to mention the choreography fees all for a team that doesn't compete against anyone all season long, right? So if I'm like, well, comparatively to our division, we really don't need it right now, or we might not need it, So I have to weigh those things. If it's a highly competitive division, right, and we're going to see several teams all season long, and I need the choreography right now, then, you can justify spending the money. So that kind of plays into it. There's sometimes I'm like, I'm just not in love with this particular section, but is it going to be good enough to go out there and win competitions, right? I don't love this section, but we're hands and hands and or heads and shoulders above the rest of our competition, then we can still win with it. Then I'll go ahead and go with that. So, there's some other factors that play into it, but yeah. So that is the question of the week. Again, if you have a question of the week, leave click the link.